that need to be taken care of as well. So we'll see the rise of groups like the Young Men's Christian Association or the YMCA or the Salvation Army. That's part of this social gospel and religious movement that also seeks, though, perhaps even more importantly to them, to take care of your worldly needs, especially those living in poverty. All right. Social changes, political debates over citizenship, corruption, and the proper relationship between business and government. We saw some continued sectional tensions. We saw some debate over protectionism, especially as America's businesses grow. Are these tariffs protecting some businesses at the expense of farmers or the consumer? All right. We'll see debates over monetary policy, particularly those in the agrarian reform movement, pushing for free silver and bimetallism or even greenbackism, while those more conservative banking elements associated with the gold standard that we've been talking about the last couple of days. Government corruption, of course, we remember Grant's era of good stealings. We'll see corruption continue into this time period at a variety of levels of governments, those local political machines, even at the federal and state level, calling for reform of civil service. We'll see the Pendleton Civil Service Act passed after the death of Garfield.
Yeah.
Garfield. All right, so.
You tried.
All right, we talked about populist reforms. We talked about women joining the workforce. Colleges for women, you can think of what is it, Seven Sisters. Girls' schools, no longer. All of them girls' schools, places like Vassar. Everyone is so smug that goes there. Anyone from Vassar watching this, you're so smug. Anyways, all right.
No discrimination, though.
Even if it's, I hope I spelled it wrong, Vassar. All right, now. I did that deliberately. No. I went to Marist. It's down the street from Vassar.
Yeah, we know.
Anyways. When I'm not on camera sometime, I'll talk about Vassar. All right, now, Jane Addams, she is someone you absolutely need to know.
Who?
Jane Addams. She would develop something known as the Settlement House movement in America. The Settlement House movement, her house was known as Hull House. Very good. This would be a place like a community center. All right. Oftentimes in some of the rougher areas, hers was in Chicago, where you provided lessons in English, cultural experiences, whatever that community needed, you would attempt to provide it. And again, Jane Addams, among the college-educated, middle-class women that are really the leaders of this movement. Who's the guy who took pictures of those living in poverty to draw attention?
Jacob Reese.
Jacob Reese in his book, How the Other Half Lives. Very good. All right, so those are some of the efforts along the social gospel movement trying to improve the life of the poor. This we have not talked about. I actually prefer to talk about this when we get to the, we're kind of in the progressive era, but we're talking more particularly about the progressive era. Plessy v. Ferguson, of course, is one of those terrible court cases in American history. This is the one that established the doctrine of separate but equal. Allows for Jim Crow laws to become the law of the land. And we'll see different response to this. Booker T. Washington is someone we'll talk more about later on, encouraging African Americans to pursue vocational education, pursue economic development, and to some extent accept discrimination at this time period. The reason I like to talk more about this stuff is when we get to the progressive era, we'll see all these reforms come into fruition, but African Americans largely left out of those reforms, so I prefer to talk about that there. So that's why we haven't talked about that yet. But technically, it's in period 6. All right, woo! I feel like I'm on a whirlwind here.
Wow, that was just under.
Now, let me take a look-see here.
That's a lot of talk.
All right, so you guys, make sure you're familiar with the Populist Party. Understand some of those changes of businesses, some of the ideas associated with capitalism, like social Darwinism, laissez-faire, some of the problems facing society this time period. Again, well, that one you'll probably figure out.
What are we going to figure out?
Yeah, I can't tell you. I think about Native Americans or general policies there of either reservations, assimilation, and killing the buffalo. Again, think about some changes in business that attempt to reduce competition, trusts, monopolies, vertical consolidation. Immigration, the development of cities, some of the problems in cities, that rise of immigration. And then, yeah, this one hopefully you'll figure out. And as I said, the short answer, think concerns of labor, goals of labor unions, and some of the actions they took. That's as far as I'm going to go in that hint there. What's your problem, Allie? All right, Gutter Snipe Productions. You got to send a link to the Google Classroom?
Yeah, yeah.